All right, everyone, welcome. We might have a couple more people trickle in as we get started, but for the sake of time and out of respect for you and your evening, we are going to go ahead and jump in. Welcome, everyone. Nate, there's a question in the Q&A you might be able to help with. Are two people able to log in with the same link? He is working on that answer for you. Thank you. For everyone else, just to give it a couple more minutes, I will go ahead and go over some housekeeping stuff. I know we are probably all very used to Zoom at this point, but just want to make sure that we're all oriented. So you are at the advising and registration Q&A for UNCA. So this is for admitted students who want to learn more about the advising aspect of starting college and how to register for classes and all that good stuff. So we have a couple guests joining us here who will introduce themselves in a minute from the Academic Success Center. A lot of questions were submitted through the registration forms, so that's fantastic. We've got a lot of questions that we can answer tonight. But if you were not able to submit a question, or if you think of one as we're going through the evening, please feel free to put that question in the Q&A box. The chat is a little bit harder to keep track of, so if you could try to keep your questions to the Q&A, we will make sure that we can get to those questions tonight. We will also all be sure to provide our contact information to you if you have questions, and we'll talk about kind of what everybody's role here is so that we can address any questions that you might have after tonight. So it looks like people are still trickling in. Just a minute. And Jenny, I hope you saw the link that you guys can try for your daughter to join as well. All right, it looks like our participants have slowed down, so I'm going to say let's go ahead and get started. Just as one more reminder, we cannot see or hear you if you are here as a guest, so no worries if you're chilling on your couch or eating dinner during this. It's just going to be us that's on screen, so make sure that you're comfortable, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So if our panelists, thank you so much for joining us. If y'all would like to go ahead and introduce yourselves briefly.
Sure. I'm Dr. Regina Kreiser. I'm the Director of First and Second Year Academic Success, and I'm also the Chair of Languages and Literatures. Thank you so much for being here. Excited to chat with all of you.
Good evening, future Bulldogs. My name is Grayson Randall. I am a Student Success Specialist in the Academic Success Center, and I really look forward to working with all of y'all in the near future. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Awesome. Thank y'all. And my name is Lindsay. I am Assistant Director of Admission here at UNC Asheville. I mostly work with our incoming transfer students. I know we have a handful of transfers joining us tonight. But tonight, really, I'm just the moderator. So I will, you'll just be hearing me read the questions. So again, if you've got questions, put them in the Q&A box, please. If you submitted a question on your registration form, we got it. And we will attempt to answer that question tonight. So, all right, we've already got some coming in. That's fantastic. And thank you for the reminder. Nate in the chat is encouraging our participants to go ahead and tell us in the chat what your name is and where you're from. We can start kind of meeting your other fellow Bulldogs. So first, we are going to start with a brief overview. We are the Bulldogs, so I apologize if you hear my Bulldog barking in the background. We are going to start with a brief overview of what the advising and registration process looks like. And so hopefully that will cover a lot of the questions that were submitted on the registration forms. So before we pass it over to Regina, one very important note, before any of this can be done on your end as a student, your first step is to confirm to UNC Asheville that you plan to attend. So in your student portal, so we want to know that you're excited to be here. I know sometimes things can get lost through the process of getting accepted to college and starting, but it is a very, very important step that you need to make sure that you've taken. So all students, whether you're a first year or a transfer, in your applicant portal, there's a button where you can say, yes, I'm coming to UNC Asheville. That is confirming your enrollment. Once your enrollment is confirmed, within 48 hours, if you do have a deposit on that enrollment, some students do and some students don't, but if you're submitting a payment for the enrollment deposit, Within 2 days after us processing that payment, you will receive the email that starts off the whole process that we're talking about tonight. All right, so just want to reiterate that all the cool stuff you're going to learn about tonight, the classes you can register for, the advisors that you can meet with and chat with and get advice from, all of that happens after you confirm your enrollment to UNC Asheville. So got that out of the way, and we'll go ahead and pass it off to Regina and Grayson.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for that introduction. And yes, go Cubs for sure. Well, that's an interesting little sentiment that I just caught in the chat. So, okay, Cubs and Bulldogs. So we have a really great Bulldogs baseball team, by the way. They're doing fantastic right now. So just for those of you who are in baseball. Reorienting myself, I want to talk with you about registration for first-year students, since a huge chunk of the questions that we saw were really about the process. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through the steps, show you the places you need to go, and then, you know, any questions that are lingering after that, I'm happy to attend to. So I will say the most Zoom sentence of the past 2 years and say, let me share my screen. And I hope you'll be able to see the UNCA advising website. Is everybody seeing that?
Yes.
Perfect. So your whole journey after you, you know, agreed to or like say that you want to attend UNCA and submitted your deposit if you have to, you get all the information that Lindsay just talked about, and that will direct you to frequent this website. So, but you can also already start checking it out before you do those steps in case you want to take a look. So advising.unca.edu is where all the resources around registration and advising are housed, in addition to the registrar's office, but we talk about that later. And so for you, we have a specific website just for incoming first-year students and then also for transfer students. I'm going to focus on first-year students here because I think the majority of you are falling in that category, but super happy to walk through the transfer process as well. But I know many of you have already been able to register. So for first-year students, here is a very nifty, very helpful, absolutely crucial website that you will need in order to register. And at the top of the website, it really walks you through all the places. So as you say, you know, set up your UNCA email account, submit your enrollment deposit after admitted in case you have to. And then the next thing that you do is you're going to spend a lot of time on this website, because here are three short videos that walk you through the entire registration process. And they tell you first about the first year experience courses. So here you're going to find all the information about which classes, what's the class that everybody has to take. I'm going to give you a preview, a real quick one. Every one of you needs to take a first year seminar in the fall semester. And I'll show you in a little bit where you can find all those first year seminars. So this video walks you through all the first year experience courses. You need to take your first year seminar, and you can take up to one more first year experience course. The second video really walks you through, once you have, you know, you made a decision what first year seminar you want to take, you made a decision if you want one other or no other of the first year experience classes, you know that how many classes you have left to fill. And so the second video walks you through all the ways in which you can make decisions about creating your first semester schedule. It has answers for those of you who are undecided, who just, you know, are in the process of figuring things out. It gives you answers for those of you who have a specific major in mind. For those of you, these 4-year degree plans are going to be really, really helpful, where you can receive suggestions about what classes you should take in your first semester. We have information here about, you know, what math class might be good for you depending on what discipline you might be interested in, how to pick the right math class if you are in the STEM direction. And then you also have a video that walks you step by step through the entire registration process. So we start with like, what classes do you need to take? How do you pick the remainder of your classes? And then how do you actually go from having those classes picked to creating a schedule that you can then register for? Here's some troubleshooting information, and that has some good information, especially for those of you with AP credits, IB credits, early college, and my amazing colleague Grayson will talk about those in a little more detail here in just a minute. For those of you interested in engineering, I will say that is a whole different kind of beast, registration-wise and classes-wise. So I really, really encourage you to watch this video so you understand like what the setup is between UNC Asheville and NC State. There's a very specific, here you have it, there's a very specific set of classes that you need to be in, and you have it all laid out here. So you have a clear list of classes you need to sign up for. And then here's some information about academic advisor and major declaration. I saw that there were some places, some questions about that as well. And so the steps are as follows. You go through these series of videos. At the end of looking through these videos, you should have a set of 3 to maximum 5 classes that you want to register. And I say maximum, engineering students excluded. You're going to have more. Once you have your classes, please go back into your application portal. This is really important because you're kind of navigating different kinds of platforms here. Go back to your application portal and submit the student information form. That's really, really important. We need that on our end, and I tell you in a minute why. So you submit the student information form in your application portal, and the moment you submit it, you will see your registration access number on the screen, and you will also receive an email with it. And that will allow you to register the next business day at 8 a.m. Right? We need to, you cannot register if you fill the form out, I don't know, 9 p.m. in the evening. You will have to wait till 8 a.m. in the morning to be able to register. And then you go through the process that is laid out in video 3. You have your registration access number and you submit your schedule. And then, you know, so at the beginning, it is really all in your hands. You shape your schedule, you shape what classes you want to take within the frameworks that I said, right? You need your first year seminar. There are specific classes that we recommend, and you have all that information on your hand. And so you build your schedule in the way that fits your interest, fits your desire of what you want your college schedule to be like. And then our amazing team of student success specialists is checking every single schedule. I want to really emphasize this is not an automated process. This is a manual process. And what we do is we're going to pull up your schedule and we're going to pull up your student information form to see if what you say you want to do and what you did is actually matching. So for example, if you write in your student information form, I want to be a philosophy major and I hate 8 a.m. classes, but you don't take any philosophy classes and all of your days start at 8 a.m. We will take a look and say like, well, that is little, there's a mismatch. And so we're going to send you an email to your UNCA email address and say like, hey, thank you for registering. We took a look at your schedule. We just have some questions because, you know, you say you want to be a philosophy major. And so here are some classes that we would recommend for that. And that gives you, that then kind of opens the kind of the communication with our amazing student success specialists. And those people will be the ones that you're going to work most closely with. I saw until the beginning of the semester. Once the semester starts and you are, you know, you're registered, every first year student will have their first year seminar instructor assigned as their academic advisor. That will be the person that's assigned to you as academic advisor, at least through your first semester, for some of you throughout your first year here. That will be your to-go-to person. And then as a transfer student, you will also have an advisor in your intended major department assigned. We try to get as much done during the week before classes, but for sure during the first week of classes. And until that point, it's really the student success specialists in our office who are your best to-go-to touch point. So I will pause there, or let me at least show one thing, and that is how you find the how you can look up classes. It is spelled out here. And so you would go to schedule of classes. Ta-da! And we don't want to be in the spring because that's a semester right now. Nobody needs to register for this semester, but you want to register for fall 2022. Here you're going to see all classes. And in order to find your first year seminar, you're going to go to FYS. Don't worry, they're all closed right now because we're saving them for you. They will be open. So no worries. And here you see all the classes that are available. You have the title, you have the times when they meet, you have the instructor, and then when you click on something, it gives you the explanation of the class. All right, so I really encourage you to look through that really carefully and pick a class that you're really excited about, that really matches your interest. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and then I'm happy to answer any question that might have popped up. I saw some action in the Q&A box.
Yeah, so I think one in particular that's coming up. Oh, can you all see me and hear me? Okay. I think one in particular that's coming up is how can a student meet directly with an advisor, or what are the options to talk to somebody if they want to before doing the registration?
So you can always, when you go to advising.unca.edu, you will find, if you scroll down on that very first page, there is a way to schedule an appointment with us, and you can schedule remote appointments. Now that you have, you have a student ID, you can sign up for those appointments, no problem. But I want to say, I really want to encourage you to give it a try and go for it and just make a schedule, because there is a safety net. There is a safety net. We will reach out, like every one of you will hear from one of our student success specialists. Like none of you will end up being completely like in the wrong classes. We will make sure that you are in the classes you should be in. So I really hope that once you look through the videos and follow those steps, that you feel empowered to create your schedule. And of course, sometimes things get sticky, and so I encourage you to always reach out. Also, I will say, let me just make sure that gets to everyone. A really good email, you can always email at UNCA, asc@unca.edu. And then you can also always email me as Director of First and Second Year Academic Success. I'm very happy to answer your questions, but really, I really want to emphasize, we put those websites together, we recorded those videos because the majority of your questions, the answers will be there. So please consider to make that your starting point, and then if things remain confusing, don't hesitate to reach out, and we're always here to help. But again, want to encourage you or remind you, there is a safety net. We will check your schedule. We will make sure you're taken care of, and you will have contact with us. But I also want to say, please don't wait. If you can, don't wait till embark. Please register as soon as you can, so you can make sure you get into the classes that you want to get into. Okay, I'm going to shut for now and follow Lindsay's directions.
So how does a student, once they think they've registered for their classes, how can they confirm that they are registered for those courses?
They should be able, so what we recommend is that they use the schedule planner. So they should be able to see that in the schedule planner, but they also, if they go back into OnePort, they can look at my class schedule, and they should see the classes there.
Awesome. All right. And it looks like we're starting to get some questions about AP exams and college credit and stuff like that. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit to that. So we've got one in the Q&A. If you're taking an AP exam this term for your intended major, assuming that you pass the exam, should the student go ahead and just register for what they think they're going to get credit for, or should they register for the intro? How should they handle that?
All right, so in this, I'll go ahead. In this situation, you will want to fill out this form on our advising website on the transfer advising page. And this form is called the transfer override form. So in this Google form, you will submit the name of the course that you'd like to get registered for, and Regina just dropped it in the chat. You'll also submit documentation that you're currently enrolled in the class. I understand the AP exams are forthcoming, so you won't have any indication that you have taken the exam quite yet, but you will just provide us with a screenshot to let us know that you are planning to take that exam. And then once you have received your scores, you'll go ahead and send those to, forgive me, the admissions office or the registrar's office for incoming students. The registrar's office.
Either one.
Excellent. So then we will go ahead and allow you to get registered for that course before you have taken the exam, just to make sure that you are in the course. And then, if things go according to plan and you get the score required to receive that course credit or any prerequisite credit, you're good to go. You can go ahead and stay in that course. Same goes for community college courses. If you are an early college student or a dual enrolled student, and you're in a course currently, you'd like to take the following course or the course next in the sequence next semester, you'll just send us some documentation that you're in that course, and I will go ahead and put in a code override for you so you can go ahead and get registered. But I saw another question. A student was curious if they should send their community college transcripts to UNCA once the courses are graded. Yes, you will send that transcript to admissions and we'll get all that transfer credit articulated for you. It just might take a moment before it shows up as a completed course in your grad plan.
Awesome. Yeah. So, just to kind of reiterate that, if you took any college courses while you were in high school, we cannot give you transfer credit for those courses unless we have the college transcript. I know most of those classes are listed on your high school transcript as well, but we can't articulate that credit unless we have the college transcript. So if you go to school at Cary High School and you took some classes at Wake Tech, we don't just need your Cary High School transcript, we also need your Wake Tech transcript as well. So I will put my email in the chat. You are welcome to reach out to me if you have trouble with that process. I do it all the time because I work with transfer students, but you do need to make sure that you're sending that. And if you're currently enrolled in any courses, you need to send another transcript after your spring semester is complete. Somebody else had asked about if they are taking courses over the summer. So same thing. You want to, if you already know what courses you're taking, you can fill out that override form to say that you're going to receive credit for those courses. Oh, they're having trouble with opening the Google Doc.
Okay, yeah, that is because they need to be logged into the UNCA email.
Thank you for that.
Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, so you can access that Google Doc when you're logged into your UNCA student email. But yes, if you're taking summer courses, you are going to need to remember to send us that transcript before fall starts, because if we don't get that transcript, there might end up being a hold on your registration for this semester after that. So just want to make sure that we have everything that we need. And then AP scores, self-reported AP scores don't count. You do need to send those official scores from the College Board website. All right. Major declaration. What's that look like? When does that happen?
So you can declare your major at any point in time. I will say that just this spring, we started a new tradition at UNCA, which is Major Declaration Day, where you can declare your major with the most amount of celebration and free food and music and stickers, and it's a whole thing and it's wonderful. So I hope that at some point the majority of you all declare in the spring at that day, but at the to be honest, you can declare whenever we're gonna really want you to be declared by getting to 60 credit hours. So if you feel certain, there's no harm in just going ahead and declare, and you can do that online under I gotta find the link real quick, hold on. It's on the registrar's website, on the forms, and so there's a major minor declaration form. Again, it will require you to log into your OnePort. So I don't know if you can do it right now, but you can definitely do it on the first day of classes. So no need to wait there.
Thank you. So for students who might be completing that student information form soon, there was a question about, there's a section on that form of what do you want the Academic Success Center advisors to know about you? What sort of information are you looking for in that section?
So it might be really helpful to include things like, I want to be a part-time student, or I really don't want to take more than 12 credit hours, and 12 credit hours would make you a full-time student, or information, as I mentioned previously, like I really struggle with 8 a.m. classes, 5 p.m. classes. I would prefer to divide my classes evenly across all the 5 days, or I have to work, and so I really cannot be in class, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after 3:30 or something like this. Like any kind of information that might be helpful, as we kind of as we in the process of making sure that you have the best schedule that you can get.
Awesome. Can you double dip courses? So for example, if you know that you want to be an art major and you have to complete the arts and ideas requirement for the liberal arts core, can you take one arts class that goes towards both your major and the liberal arts core?
Indeed, you can. Yeah, you can double dip. And I just want to make sure that not every art class fulfills the arts and ideas requirement, but there are a good chunk that do. So you just need to pay attention. But yes, double dipping is generally permissible and encouraged.
There was a question in the Q&A. If you take, that we answered that one. All right. So we have a student who is planning to attend UNC Asheville, but might change their mind after May 1st. They're still waiting to hear back from a couple other colleges. What should they do? Should they go ahead and register for classes, or just kind of wait and see?
I really think it's what's in your comfort zone. I would recommend to register. I would also recommend you come to UNCA, but I'm biased. So, but yes, I would go ahead and register. Just because at some point in the 100 level, the closer we get to the semester, the fewer the options are. So if you are in a position where you have deposited it and you can register, I would definitely go ahead and register.
Can y'all talk a little bit about minors? What are minors? Do you have to have one? What does that look like on your degree? What's a minor?
Minors are great. I think everybody should get them. No, I'm kidding. But only kind of. I'm kind of not kidding. I think minors are a great kind of separate or additional focus area that can really round out your degree, or put an emphasis on certain aspects of your degree, right? So I think it takes really careful planning to make sure that you have the time to complete both of those degrees. And it would show on your, like your degree would then say a major in this and this and a minor in your minor concentration. I will say, because as chair of languages and literatures, I'm, I think, required by contract to say that I think a language minor makes a fantastic addition to any major that you can take. And I'm not just saying that because I work there. I really, really believe that adding a second language to any degree that you pursue is going to add depth and nuance and cultural competency to your experience and skill set. And I really think that's moving forward, that's only going to be more important. So that would be my recommendation. But really, sometimes people use minors to just get a little more depth in a specific kind of area that's already related to their major, or they really want an additional aspect that is not related to their major at all, right? Where they're like, I'm not just a biology major, but I'm also an art minor. I don't know. At UNCA, these kinds of combination can happen. And then you see, why did I think of that? Because we had somebody do that because they wanted to go into creating these wonderful pictures of animals that we have in textbooks, and that we need to study animals. They really wanted to know how to anatomically correct paint animals. And so that was the perfect connection for them. They were really driven by their biology passion and they wanted that skill set. So that's what they did.
So cool. So you had mentioned languages earlier. Can you talk a little bit about the foreign language placement tests? There was also a question about kind of the difference between the beginner level or the beginner intermediate level. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yes. So at UNCA, you can study French, German, Spanish, Cherokee, and Portuguese, Chinese, Latin, Greek, Hebrew. Man, I hope I didn't miss anyone. I think those are all of them. And so if you have taken a language before, I would recommend, and you're like, so you need to show proficiency at the second semester level, which is usually intermediate low for most languages, in order to fulfill your language requirement. And so if you feel like, I just took years of Spanish in high school, I don't know if I need to retake it again, you can email Tabby Price, who is the amazing administrative assistant in our department and who will walk you through the steps for your placement exam. And so, Lindsay, can you specify the question between, or like, what was the question about beginning and intermediate level? I'm not exactly sure. I know what people are asking for.
Sure, let me go back. Can you explain registering for a foreign language class? I saw a different class for beginners and those with foreign language classes from high school. What forms or proof would I need to provide to register for the correct class? So if somebody has taken, 4 years of Spanish and then wants to take Spanish now versus somebody who's never taken Spanish before,
Yes. So if you don't, unless you have an AP score or like early college or community college, you need to take a placement exam in order to place out of the language requirement or to place into an upper level class. So the placement test is going to be the way to go for that. And the majority 110 classes are usually reserved for people who are true beginners. So in the sense of like they never studied that language before.
Awesome. And there's a question about whether a student has to take a foreign language if they took one when they were actually that does say in college. So that's a great question. We do not award, you cannot satisfy our second language requirement just from high school classes, but you can satisfy our second language requirement either with an AP score that's good enough to transfer in as that class, or if you have taken college foreign language courses, just make sure that we have that college transcript. If you earned a C or higher in those courses, they should transfer over. We had a student asking about German.
Oh yeah, I'm typing as we speak. It is
Great.
for sure. For sure. Did I not mention German?
Yes, German is definitely still an option. And we had a student who wanted to know if they're allowed to take more than one language.
Please do. Anytime. Go ahead. You only need one. So the thing I would say is like you need to have 2 semesters in one language because it's not just taking 2 semesters of language. It's demonstrating proficiency at the second semester level. But yes, please take all the languages you can.
Awesome. And then could you just clarify again real quick, if they want to take that language placement test, where or when do they do that, or do they have to reach out to someone?
So they should contact Tab if they want to take it now. They should contact Tabby Price and she will hook them up. And it's a remote exam that they take on their own time. We will also have some availability for those things during embark, so they can take it at this point in time. They can take it once they get here. So there are multiple options available. It's now we don't have like certain windows. They can take it whenever they want to.
Great. Could we shift over just a little bit to some of the Office of Academic Accessibility questions? I know that we don't have them here representing us, but I think we all have a pretty good sense of what that process looks like.
Yes, and so I'm trying to recall all the questions.
That's okay. Yep. So for example, one of the questions is, let's say I had a 504 or an IEP in high school. Does that automatically transfer to UNC Asheville?
No. And I'm very sorry about that. I mean, I didn't make the decision. I know it's a hassle, but I think that's really, really important to keep in mind, that your accommodations from high school do not automatically transfer. So what I would really recommend is setting up. You can start already meeting with our Office of Academic Accessibility and have a conversation with them. You know, if you go to their website, trying to multitask and pull it up, you can sign up for an appointment with them and discuss kind of like what your situation is, and they will let you know kind of what documentation you might need in order to receive certain accommodations. And they will talk with you like, based on your circumstances, these are the accommodation that they can provide. I will say that our faculty are deeply committed to supporting every student. And so kind of really getting your accommodations followed by faculty is not a problem whatsoever. We get an email from the Office of Academic Accessibility at the beginning of the semester, or whenever. You can file for accommodations at any point in this semester. And so your faculty members will get information of what accommodations you are entitled to, and we will abide by those, absolutely. So yes, I would recommend to kind of start engaging in that process over the summer, because your accommodations do not transfer directly.
Awesome, thank you. And I apologize, I was answering some questions. I think you'd mentioned, so Office of Academic Accessibility, actually I think it's accessibility services now, because it's not just academic accessibility. They also assist students with housing accommodations as well, if that's something that you need. Awesome, all right, we are flying through these. So yeah, so we had some specific questions about OAA, and it would be best to go ahead and schedule an appointment with them to speak directly about your individual case. They are fantastic, and as we all know, accommodations and modifications look different for every single student. So can we speak for a minute about the different forms, or what is the word, methods, I guess, that the classes will take? So are they mostly in person, online, hybrid? Yeah. What's that look like?
Yeah, so the majority of, at this point in time, the majority of our classes are offered in person. So that means that all of your class meetings are happening in a classroom setting. I think at UNCA, we're really committed to the in-person engagement with students. We understand that, like we're noticing it right now, right? This conversation would probably be a little different if we were all in the same room. It would also be a lot more complicated. So it makes a lot of sense that this is Zooming. But when you're all on campus, why wouldn't we all meet in person? So yes, I would say like 90% of our classes, 85% of our classes are in person. We have a couple, then a chunk that is online, and you will see that in the course schedule. Those are clearly identified as in person, online, or the other option I think you have is hybrid. And that means that the class has not just in-person meetings, but also from the beginning, the professor is planning to have some remote meetings built into the schedule. So that gives you a pretty good idea, if you're like, I just had, pandemic, Zoom, high school for the past 2 years. No, thank you. I don't need any of those classes. You can make sure to avoid those. Or if you're like, what, 1 or 2 might not be a bad idea, especially if you feel, if you're very interested in a class, and, then you can sign up for an online class. So those are all available. I will say that I think it's probably not going to be possible to build a fully online first semester, first year schedule. And I will also say I would not recommend that whatsoever. And I want to say, like, there's a question I see that is like, when classes say that they are 4 credit hours and meet on a certain day, but say also meet on certain days, what does that mean? You should plan for the class meeting on all of those times. And so you mentioned the FYS, and so what you see with some of our FYS, they have a regular meeting time, and then they have a once a week evening meeting time. And so just make sure when you use the schedule planner will block those those times automatically and will not schedule another class. But that's kind of what this means. All the times that you see, all the meeting times, you should not plan anything at the same time.
On that same vein, let's say we've got a first level chemistry class that says the lab is tied to the main course listed as Friday and Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So does that mean they're meeting twice on Friday? Should they just go with whatever the schedule planner blocks out?
Yes, they should. Yes, those are, I'm just laughing because I mean, I understand that that's, it's a labyrinth, and so I will say, the longer Friday times, the class will not meet every single week during that time. It's the extended exam time that they need. However, the schedule planner will block that time out and will not have you schedule another class over it. And I think that's a good way because you don't want to be, in your FYS when you actually have to take a chemistry exam. So the schedule planner is really a fantastic tool to use because it takes the schedule puzzle piece and does it for you. You just tell them, these are the classes that I want. And then it says, here are 500 options or 5 in which you can take those classes.
Do all of the languages that UNC Asheville offers meet the liberal core requirements?
All of them do, and not just the languages taught at UNCA. We also have a procedure in place. For example, you might be a heritage speaker of, I don't know, Afrikaans or I don't know.
We have quite a few students who come from Blue Ridge Community College with ASL.
Perfect. Yes, they need to. So we have a project. We have a process in place where they kind of need to. They do a placement exam with somebody who speaks that language, and then that can fulfill the language requirement. Absolutely.
Right. There was a question for students who already know that they want to major in chemistry. We know that there's a specific first year seminar called Science and Practice of Learning and Thriving in College that is recommended for students who want to study chemistry. Yes. Is that going to be available on Monday?
Yes. All of them. And please make sure to sign up for that section. Absolutely. If you don't, we will see it and then we will put you in that section.
Awesome. Good to know.
And it's so I just want to point out there are two of those sections, the science of learning. And please, I think you might have gotten an email from the chair, Dr. Wasilewski. Please make sure you are in section 014.
So we had a few questions. If we take a step back a little bit, we had a few questions that were just kind of in general, what should a student keep in mind when they're working on creating their own schedule? So, one student was a little bit worried about travel between buildings, right? How do they build that in? One student was worried just in general about creating a balanced schedule. What would you say that looks like, or what advice would you have for those students who are concerned about those things?
And I'm very sorry you have to hear me talk the whole time, but that's the benefit you get when you talk to the director of first and second year academic success. I think about these things all the time. So I have a lot to say. So I would say two things. I really, really recommend having class every single day. You might not be able to break it even that you have the same number of classes every single day, but being in class every single day really allows you to develop a routine, a rhythm of like you are in class every day of the week. So that would be my first recommendation. I will also say usually the transfer time of 15 minutes between classes is usually enough to get from one end of campus to the other. However, if you feel like you would benefit from more time, you don't have to take classes necessarily back to back. And that would also be great information to share in your student information form, to say like, I know that I would benefit from having a break to process, or, I really need to watch my blood sugar. And so I really need to make sure I eat regularly. So I need to account for that in my schedule, or, it's really important for me that I have time to eat lunch or whatever, any of those, right? Share this with us in your student information form so we can make sure that you have the schedule. What I will say I think our campus is situated in a way that the 15 minutes between classes are sufficient to get from building to building.
As a former student, I would agree. I always have more time than I thought I would. I might have been out of breath a little bit from the hills. But. Okay, fantastic, awesome. We've had a couple questions about credit hours. Can we just do a quick overview? How many credit hours total are needed to earn a degree? How many credit hours count as full-time? Is there a maximum or minimum number of credit hours students can take?
Grayson is going to take that one. She's going to roll with it and hit it out of the park.
And I'll throw one at the end. If a student is part-time, what kind of implications could that have?
Perfect. If you hear a dog barking, I do apologize. It's the walking hour. We have a lot of visitors walking by our front door. Sorry about that. But students who are taking 12 credit hours or more are considered full-time. And obviously fewer than 12 credit hours is going to classify you as part-time. This is the type of situation where you'd want to get in touch with our financial aid office. They're extremely accommodating, very helpful. They can kind of walk you through what that might look like being a part-time student, how that would have an influence on your financial aid at UNCA. So most students take between 3 and 4 classes, which puts you at between 12 and 16 credit hours. You do need a total of 120 credit hours to graduate from UNC Asheville. And there's some other graduation stipulations, like if you're a transfer student, and we can work through that together in the Academic Success Center with you, since everyone's situation looks a little bit different. But if you are wanting to take more than 18 credit hours, you will fill out an hours override form. You'll just want to work with a student success specialist and make sure that's the right move for you. Additionally, if you want to take more than 10 credit hours over the summer, you'll fill out the same form. But we generally advise students somewhere in the 12 to 16 hour range to graduate on time.
Thank you. And speaking of kind of hours and a balanced schedule, are students allowed to work while they're in school? Are there restrictions on that?
Plenty of our students, so plenty of our students, whether they're working on campus, maybe as a lifeguard, maybe in dining services, as part of a work study package, or just as a part-time job, you are absolutely allowed to work. You'll definitely want to consider that as you are registering for your courses. But the really beautiful thing about working on campus is that your supervisor understands you are a student first. So they'll be really flexible with you as you are building your schedule. And they do want to make sure that you are prioritizing your class time as opposed to your job on campus. But yeah, absolutely. Lots of our students work on and off campus.
Wonderful. Thank you. At what point are students able to edit their schedule? Once they register for courses, if they go in, they're ready, they watch the videos, they completed the enrollment form and the student information form, they have used their schedule planner, they check the grad plan, all that stuff, they register on Monday. What happens then? Are they allowed to change their schedule?
That is a great question. Thank you for bringing that up, Dylan, and for bringing that up, Lindsay. So once we review the schedule, once the student success specialists review your schedule and email you, and they're either going to email and say, looks splendid, you are in great shape, way to go Bulldogs, or they're going to say, we have a couple of questions, let's figure this out, go Bulldogs. You know, once that process is concluded, we will lock your schedule. Because, you know, we just talked with you, we made sure you are in the classes that you need to be in, and we don't want you, you know, to get out of classes that we just decided you need to be in. So we will lock the schedule, but if you want to make any changes, you can just reach out to the person who emailed you about your schedule and say like, hey, I just noticed, you know, I'm really passionate about this and I really want to take this class. Or I just met a student at Embark who's really awesome and they are in that FYS and I would love to take my first year seminar with them together. And we will do whatever we can to help you make those changes. And then once the semester starts, there's a drop add period, the first week of classes, where you can make changes as well. So we, you know, over the summer, you can, once you submit your schedule, you're not going to be able to make changes without talking to one of the student success specialists. And yes, Josh, the FYS is considered a class. It's a credit-bearing class that's going to earn you either 3 or 4 credit hours, and it's required as part of your liberal arts core.
Thank you. So it looks like the questions are slowing down a second. So Grayson, do you think we could do a quick, like 3-minute kind of transfer thing? I know we have a couple transfers here on the call, so I would love to just address. Hopefully a lot of the information that we've given tonight is still useful to you as a transfer student. I know that, some of our transfers are still in their freshman year. Some are, older, have an associate's degree, all that stuff. But a lot of the information we've gone over is still very relevant to you as a transfer student. You need to make sure that we've got all of those official college transcripts so that you get credit for the hard work that you've done before you got here. We don't want you to have to take any classes again that you've already taken. As transfers, you can also submit official AP test scores. So if you got your associate's degree at AB Tech, but that language requirement was knocked out because of an AP score, we need that AP score as well. So make sure that you send that to us as well. The process of registering for classes for transfer students is almost the exact same as it is for first years in terms of the first couple steps. You need to make sure that you've gone into your applicant portal and told us that you're coming. Submit that enrollment form, confirm your enrollment, tell us that you want to come to UNC Asheville. That will kick off the process of you receiving an email 48 hours after your deposit has been processed. If there is a deposit, if there's no deposit, then you'll just get it 48 hours after you confirm your enrollment. And that will kick off here's how you log into your student email, your one port, all that good stuff. You are not required to meet with an advisor as a transfer student. You are welcome. If you feel good about what you've learned here, there's a ton of good information on the transfer advising webpage that has everything you need to know, links to all the forms that you need. So you're welcome to go ahead and register yourself at that point, or you can follow the steps to schedule an appointment with an advisor. But again, there's a lot of really good information on that website. So we want you to feel empowered to go ahead and sign up for those classes that you know that you need. Again, we had linked earlier to the course override form. So if you're a transfer student who's currently enrolled, for example, in Chem 1, and you want to register for Chem 2 in the fall, but you don't have that Chem 1 grade yet, that's okay. Submit that form and the advisors will make sure that we can override that so you can go ahead and register for Chem 2. Grayson, anything else that you want to add for transfers?
Lindsay, you covered it. I mean, truly, we love our transfers at UNC Asheville. You are a bulk of our student population. So we understand, I know we've mentioned it a couple of times, everyone's situation is different. You all have such unique backgrounds, unique courses and experiences you're bringing to UNC Asheville. I have experience working with transfer students at admissions, and now I get to work with them in academic advising. So I dropped my email in the chat box. If you want to schedule a time to meet with me virtually, in person, if you want to go over classes, anything I can assist you with, I'd be happy to meet with you.
And then just one more note, if you are an early college student, just remember that you'll be following all of the steps that we talk about here as a first year. Because this will be your first time as a full-time college student at UNC Asheville. So you are considered a first year when it comes to things like advising and registration, but don't worry, you're still getting transfer credit for the transcripts that you submit. You're still getting credit for that associate's degree that you're earning. But just when we're talking about processes, you are considered a first year when it comes to advising and registration. So that opens up for you on Monday if you've completed all the steps. All right, we are slowing down a little bit. So embark, you will receive some more information on embark, but does anyone want to touch on that real quick?
Hold on. Yes, so embark is a 2-day in-person orientation, and we have one for transfer students and then for all of our incoming first-year students, and they're going to be like 4 different dates, 2 days. Students will stay on campus. Again, more information forthcoming, but we want you here for both of those dates. And let me see if there's anything else about the embark piece that people were interested in.
And that was the main thing, just kind of the overview. There is a first year embark as well as a transfer embark. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on that if you are a transfer student.
And yeah, I see Grayson typing the answer, but I just want to make sure we have that. So let's make sure to put the first year registration website in the chat just one more time. You will get it in an email as well, but I'm gonna just share it in the chat with everybody. Yes, you do not need to meet with an advisor before registering for classes. The first year student website has all the information to walk you through the registration process, to help you figure out how to pick classes. And so, yes, start there, and then we swoop in with our safety net. And yes, please, you absolutely have to do Embark. Pre-orientation is optional, but yes, please do that. You can do both. You should do both. It's going to be amazing. I highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm. And there was a great question there about where do I send those transcripts? I think I neglected to mention that, so thank you. If you are sending official transcripts, UNC Asheville does accept electronic transcripts. Most colleges these days will send an electronic PDF transcript. They literally just email it to us. It usually comes within 2 days max. And you can order that to be sent to admissions@unca.edu.
And just for the, the double major, I will say your first semester, if you take, if you're in your first semester, if you take your FYS, if you take the 100 level intro class for both of your majors, and then maybe another class, maybe your Lang 120 or Humanities 124, you will be in great shape. And then when you get here, we will work on working out that 4-year plan. So yes, we want to be supportive of people who double major. That is definitely a path that many of our students follow, but you're not going to be in a situation where we say, yeah, you should probably take 6 classes in your first semester. That's not going to happen. We want your first semester to really be the one where you can land here, where you can find your footing, where you can establish your connections. And so FYS, the entry-level class in each of your intended majors, and then another either Lang 120 or Humanities 124. Should I try to hop on that last one about constructing a major?
Sure.
So, the majors, those exist that are right now, they are constructed for you. There is a course sequence that the department has decided, like, these are the classes that you need to take in order to be a major, to earn a degree, to earn a major degree in that. And so it's really for you kind of to figure out which major you want to pursue and then follow that course of classes. So you don't necessarily have to construct it yourself, even though I will say we have options where you're like, my interest is really in the middle of 2 majors. We will work with you to construct your major. And there's a process for that in place for sure.
Wonderful, thank you.
Look at us.
We cleared it out. It's like clearing out your email inbox.
Yes, I love it. That will never happen in my email. So this feels great.
Okay, no more questions. No, I'm just kidding. You are welcome to submit more questions. We are getting near the end of our time here tonight. So I will ask, so when will intro level courses in majors fill? Oh, we're asking when will those courses fill up?
I mean, our first year students, rising sophomores, they just registered. They just started to register. So, there are definitely students in those classes. But I mean, looking around, the majority of intro level classes are still open. They have sections, because it's you and our rising sophomores who will take those classes most likely. So you should not have any problems finding 100 level classes at this point for sure.
Awesome, thank you. And Grayson, did you take that, the math placement question?
I did not. Did it disappear?
Looks like it disappeared. Yeah.
I didn't
so
see it. Sorry.
How do students get placed in math? Let's say they never took pre-calc, but they took an AP calc exam, that kind of thing. What does math placement look like?
Saving the best for last. So there is a math placement. There is a math placement cheat sheet on the registration, on the first year registration website. And so what we are looking at is, what high school classes did you take? What were your high school math classes? And we take account your GPA. And then we try to steer you in one direction, just based on, based on an immense data set that says like, these students with these characteristics really should be in this math class. And if you wanna, if you like, oh, you placed me in calculus, but I already took calculus in high school, and we say, yeah, we placed you there because of your GPA, for example. But you say, no, I really did really well in calculus, so I'm good. Then there is a test that you can take. So you can, whatever decision we make, you can, contest is not as positive of a word I'm looking for, but you can challenge.
Appeal?
Yes. And then we appeal, and then we give you, then there is an actual test, an actual placement test that you can take that will confirm where you should go. But in the beginning, that's kind of what we look at and what we kind of put in the system for you, and that's the classes you're going to be able to register for. So the cheat sheet on the first year advising first year registration website that talks about math placement is a good one.
Awesome. All right, so we are at the end of our time for tonight. Thank you so much to our panelists for answering all of those questions so thoroughly and politely, and this was a lot of fun. So I would just say, and if anybody else wants to jump in with some last parting words, I would say if you still have questions at this point, the two best places to go when in doubt is advising.unca.edu or send an email to your admissions counselor. We are happy to be your point person. I know we're kind of in that place of sort of transferring you over from an admitted student to enrolled student, but we are still here to help you. So if you have any doubts at all or any questions still after tonight, either email your admissions counselor or check out advising.unca.edu. There is a ton of really good information on there. Submit your enrollment form and check your email.
Yes, and we are so excited to have you on campus. We cannot wait. And please reach out with any questions. Please just send an email, spend some time with the videos. We got you. Like, don't worry, we got you. We're gonna make sure that you are in the classes where you need to be. You can do this, and we cannot wait to see you on campus.
Go Bulldogs! Woo!
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs.
See y'all soon.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.